So, you want to know about the restaurant scam? Well, that's good, because I'm going to tell you all about it in this video. I'm going to tell you where it came from, I'm going to tell you what it is, and I'm going to tell you what you need to do to avoid it if you go to places in the Ukraine, such as Odessa and Kiev, where the scam is everywhere. I think a good place to start off this video is with a little bit of a history lesson. It's a bit boring, but it's a good place to start because it'll tell you where it first came from, and you can see how it's evolved into what it is now, where it's a full-blown scam. Now, I knew the restaurant scam was operating, but I didn't know much about it. I was a bit naive, I suppose, like most of us when we go over there. I actually got told about it by somebody, a local person from Odessa, and she has been in this industry and in Odessa for most of her life, and she can remember when the restaurant scam actually came to be. So imagine this, 20 or so years ago, men start coming from the United States to come to Kiev or Odessa to find their bride. When they get there, they're obviously going to be going out on dates. A restaurant owner that's there thinks to himself, how can I get these guys into my restaurant to buy my food so that I can make some money and keep my store running, or my restaurant, or whatever it is that's running? How can I do this? He thinks to himself, and he thinks, I know, I'll give the girls a commission when they come in. I'll give them 5%. So that's what he does, and business is booming. The girls know this. He's contacted the girls or the agencies that were set up 20 years ago and says, look, if your ladies bring their dates in here, I'll give you 5%. Business is booming. All the guys are going there. They don't know why they're all going there, but they're all going there. The restaurant down the road, he sees this, and he says, finds out what it is and says, I'm going to do this too, but I'm going to give 10%. So he contacts the girls and said, hey, bring them to my one. I can give you 10%, okay? 10%. The girls are going, my God, this is amazing. 10% for going on a date? Next guy thinks, well, hang on, if he's going to give 10%, I'm going to give 20%. But he thinks to himself, but if I'm giving away 20% of my profit, I'm not going to be making much money. How can I make it so that I'm still making good profits on the food that I'm selling? I'm going to have to bump the price up when these guys come in. But how am I going to do that? I'm going to have a special menu for these guys when they come in. So that's what he did. So over the years, it has evolved from something that was such an innocent referral system to a full-blown girls taking guys to a restaurant so that they can get 20% or 30% kickback. You may have heard me mention the restaurant Caesars in other videos. That restaurant actually gives 40% kickback and charges 2 or 3 times more. So you see how it's just blown out of proportion? And can you see how the girl's incentive is not really to find love anymore? It's to make money. If she's taking a guy to this restaurant and she's making $20 a night, $30 a night, just for going out for dinner and leading this guy along, it's not bad money for her. It's more money than she's certainly getting in her day-to-day job, and she's going out for dinner having a good time. So the restaurants become a huge source of income for these girls. The restaurants in some of these areas, especially around the hotels where these tour companies come to, they are all in on it. When the tours are in town, the prices are all ready to go up. When these guys walk in, they can spot them coming a mile away. These times for these restaurants are when they are making probably the most amount of money during the year by overcharging the Western guys. Now, the restaurants know that when a guy goes into a restaurant and they spot him and they're like, oh yeah, we got one. We just got to reel him in now. He sits down, they give him the second menu, the menu where the prices are highly inflated. Now, the restaurants know, and the girl knows, the guy's not going to complain about it. He's not going to say, this place is too expensive, let's go, because he's taken out a date. He's trying to impress her. In fact, the guy might be thinking, yeah, bring it on, whatever it's going to cost. Anything that my girl wants, she can have. The girls know this, okay? So the girl's job, if she's interested in this, money, 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 if she's interested in that, it's her job, and literally, it's her job for that 1 or 2 hours, to inflate the price as much as possible. So the girl will usually order the most expensive meal on the menu, which is usually fish or seafood, because in the Ukraine they don't have their own fish, it has to be imported. So it's going to be very, very expensive. They'll buy the most expensive wine. I have heard stories of guys going out and the ladies buying cognac, having cognac with lunch just to inflate the price. So the higher the price is, the better their commission is. So if the price was $200, 40% of that is a good chunk of cash for the ladies. The fact that they show you the menu first and you agree to it means there's nothing really you can do about it. Now, I do know some restaurants that come out with a bill that's just brrr, you didn't understand what it said on there, and they've hugely inflated it, and you don't really know what you're arguing because apparently no one can speak very good English anymore now that the bill has come out. But in some restaurants, it says it on the price. It has the price there. If you agree to it, you're agreeing to it. Technically, they're not doing anything wrong. You're agreeing to that price. It's up to you if you want to stay there. And you're not going to leave because you don't want to look like you're cheap. So it's a bad, horrible, nasty situation to try and get yourself out of. So you're probably wondering, how does the girl actually get paid? Does she get paid weekly? Is it like a salary? Is there benefits? Well, there's actually two ways that it can work. The restaurant, if the girl has an arrangement with the restaurant herself, she can be paid directly. Sometimes this is done afterwards. So after the meal is finished, she'll then go and get her jacket. So I have heard that one way to pay them is for them to put the money into her jacket pocket when she leaves. So that's one way that she can get paid. Another way is that they can just basically just give it to her. But another way, if she doesn't have an agreement directly with that restaurant, the agency that she has signed up for has an agreement with the restaurant. She has to give the restaurant the agency card. The restaurant will then pay the agency will then pay the girl. So you're never going to know which one it is, but effectively they're all exactly the same. How they get paid doesn't matter. You're the one that's had to put your hand really deep into your pocket and get out all your money and put it on the table. So that's how the girls are going to get paid. If you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I went out on a date and I caught the waiter giving her something, or she was giving him something. And her excuse for that was that he was asking for her phone number, or she had to give her the phone number, which I thought was kind of weird. And the thing that made it even more weird is the next day that we were actually out at another restaurant, and that guy was sitting behind us, and I said, "Hey, look, it's the guy that gave you his phone number." The guy cringed in his seat. And I found out from one of the other girls that he was sitting there with his girlfriend. So the whole thing was just rubbish, and they pretty much got snapped. So kind of funny, I suppose. In the Ukraine, there are websites that advertise for jobs. No different than any other country. You can search whatever you're looking for. These websites advertise jobs for girls. Now, these are agencies advertising a job on there. And in the ad, it says, "Come to our agency. We will take photos of you." You'll get photos given to you that we can then use also for anything else we want to use for, like I don't know, like getting guys to write letters to, something like that maybe. I'm not too. In these ads, it also says things like, if you come to our agency, you can get paid by taking guys out on dates to restaurants. Can you imagine it? These girls are signing up for these agencies, which is it's not the big agencies, it's the little agencies underneath them that are then signed up to the big agencies. These girls are going to these agencies for the sole purpose to take guys out to restaurants to get kickbacks from the restaurants. They're not there looking for love. Yes, there are girls in these agencies that are looking for love, of course they are. But if they're advertising this online, if they're advertising these jobs online, how are you ever going to know? So, now that you know where it came from, how the whole thing operates, how do you avoid it? How are you supposed to avoid this? Well, knowing what's going on is one thing. I was oblivious to it, and I kind of got the feeling something was going on, but unless somebody tells you what I've just told you, you don't know. It's just so foreign to us. It really is. In our country, we don't have that sort of stuff. You know, maybe someone can overcharge you at a restaurant, but it's not like this. This is just crazy. So what you want to do, before you go out on a date, you want to do your research, okay? You want to find which restaurants do this to people. And it's very, very easy to find. All you do is you go to, say, TripAdvisor, and you go into the search box and you type in Odessa, and then the other search box, instead of typing in sushi or Mexican food, type in the word scam. That's it, and click enter. It'll come up with a list of restaurants in Odessa that are scams. Take note of these. Take note of what these restaurants are called. Even get out the little notepad on your phone and just quickly write them down. So if you do get asked to go to one of these, you can quickly have a look and remember it. Or if you've got internet connection, which I recommend having a SIM card for this very sole purpose, you can quickly Google it and see if it's got any 1-star reviews. If it has 1-star reviews, you almost don't even have to go in there to see what it says, but I recommend doing that. But it will be in there, and it will be a bunch of guys that have come from overseas that are saying this place has a second menu. I've been taken here by a date. I got overcharged. My bill was $600. I bought some wine. It cost me $300. Whatever it is, it's going to be like that. So you want to find a restaurant that has got a good reputation. This is very, and I'm not going to actually say any restaurants because I don't want to say one and a guy goes here and gets scammed and then it's my fault, because that's the last thing that I would want to happen. Have a look and try and search for a restaurant around you and just try and find one that has 4 or 5 stars. That's going to be the best indication, because people who do bad reviews on restaurants are usually people that are unhappy. So that's the way to think about it. So look for ones where there's no unhappy reviews. Once you've got that sorted, you need to use your own driver, because some of these girls will come pick you up in their own driver and you're getting scammed that way as well. It's happened to me. I'm not too proud to say it. Hey, it's just part of it. But the most safe way really is just to use Uber. That way, no cash is being handed over, it's getting charged to your credit card, and you're only going to get charged like a couple of dollars or something really, really cheap like that anyway. So that's what I would use Uber. If she insists to go to a particular restaurant and you've done your Googling and you've done your research and she really wants to go there, the way that I would get out of this is I would say, hang on a second, I really want to go to this restaurant here, which you know is a good restaurant, and say, I've heard the food is amazing there and I really want to go there. So the restaurant that you've chosen is an expensive restaurant. It's a nice restaurant. It is expensive. So you're not taking it to like a crappy little cafe or something. You're taking it to an expensive restaurant. So she's got no excuse to go, oh no, that's no good. Even though it's an expensive restaurant, it's still going to be a hell of a lot cheaper than what it is in your own country, and it's still going to be cheaper than the scam restaurant. So you want to organize that beforehand. You could even make a reservation or something like that and say, I've got a reservation, I want to take you out for a great night. So that way she's not picking you up in your car, and so that way she's not picking you up in a sketchy car. She's not taking you to a scam restaurant, and you're going to have a little bit more control. Now, if she's continuing to insist, you must go to one of these restaurants. You must. And she may say things like, I've never been there before and I heard it's really great. Or she has been there before and the food is amazing and she wants to show you because she really wants to show you the nice restaurant in her town. Do not go, because you're setting yourself up, because you will go into this not knowing whether she likes you or whether she's just going out there to get the kickback from the restaurant. And take it from someone that knows this so well. I spent 5 days with a girl going to scam restaurants, only to learn about the scam restaurants as I was going through it, not knowing whether or not she liked me or not, even though I was asking her, do you actually like me, or is it the scam restaurants? Oh, I like you, I like you. You still don't know. So and you cannot have any form of a relationship with a girl based on her scamming you. Okay, now she's going to have her own issues back home. Maybe she has a child and all these sorts of things. It makes it really hard to start a relationship in that situation. It's just the unfortunate side of it. If she's not straight up with you, I wouldn't be there. The other thing to remember too is you don't have to go to restaurants. For some reason, we seem to think that we have to go to restaurants. Why? Whose idea is this? We have to go to a restaurant and sit down and eat food and look at each other? Be creative. You don't have to do that. Look around what's in the city, and maybe there's something fun that you can go and do. Like maybe there's like you can go and make candy or something at a candy factory, or maybe you can go mountain climbing, or maybe you can do something that's fun for the both of you. Sitting in a restaurant, and speaking from someone who's been on a lot of restaurant dates, I mean, if that's what you like to do and that's where you feel comfortable, that's great. But be creative. Think of something that's going to be exciting and memorable for you to do, and something that you can build a little bit of emotion with. As you know, that's how I believe that people can form a strong relationship, by creating something that's fun, not by sitting at a restaurant, sipping on wine, talking about, do you like cats or dogs or whatever. So there you have it. So that's the restaurant scam in a nutshell. So even though it is such a small scam, and there might be guys going, oh, I don't care if I get overcharged. I mean, just whatever, I don't care. But it's not about that. It's not about the money. Because you are going to get overcharged, but so what? It's a little bit of money. You're getting overcharged. You're there to find a wife. You know, a little bit of money that you spend is not a big deal. It's not about that. What it's about a girl that you really like or end up liking, and you being unsure if she actually likes you or if she's just using you to make an extra $20 or $30 a night. And that's what it comes down to. You have to try and find someone that you can trust, someone that you know that will always be there for you and look after you no matter what. So any signs of her being a scammer, I'm afraid you have to just walk away. That's all there is to it. So hopefully this video helps you. The restaurant scam is very, 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 very common in places like Odessa and Kiev and the big cities, the places where the guys go. In Odessa, many of the restaurants you go in there, they've got love hearts everywhere. There's people walking around with the roses, trying to get you to buy one when you're in the middle of your dinner, because if you don't, you're going to look like a bad person. And there's love stuff everywhere. These places know that Westerners are coming there to find love. So just always be careful and make sure that you're always aware of what's going on. Keep an eye on everything, the menu and everything like that, and get used to knowing how much things cost. And the other thing to remember is that you are going there to take girls on dates. You be in charge. You choose the date. You take the girl on the date. Don't ever let her take you to any date, because you need to be in control of where you're going. Hopefully that video helps if you think it may have helped in any way, or if you have been scammed by restaurants in Odessa, which I'm sure there's going to be a few people out there that have. Put it in the comments and let people know about what restaurant you went to and exactly what happened, because it may stop some guy from going there and getting scammed. So as you know, the channel is all about helping guys trying to find love in the Ukraine. So anything we can do together is always going to be a good thing. So if you like the channel, subscribe. So yeah, that's the restaurant scam.